Also, what the Rams showed you last night, what's at stake in Dolphins, Patriots, and the final 3 days of baseball's regular season. Or is it? Who's rooting for insanity this weekend? Let's go around the horn. I need a tiebreaker Monday. I need a tiebreaker Tuesday. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday.
It's Around the Horn, the show of competitive banter. Here's Tony Reale.
Rams 38, Vikings 31. What part of this was the Rams being that good? What part of this was the Vikings defense not being the Vikings defense? What part of this was the dawn of Goff? And what part of this is the acumen of Sean McVay? Mina, you want to start us off?
Sure. I think this was more about the Rams offense than the Vikings defense. All last season we heard Sean McVay's a genius, Jared Goff, he's good, but he's kind of a system quarterback. Sean McVay clearly is still a genius. Anyone who watched last night, all of those receivers wide open, getting matched up with poor Anthony Barr, that's McVay's scheming. But Jared Goff is not a system quarterback. He is a system upgrade. Some of those throws he was making, the 47-yard touchdown bomb to Brandon Cooks, perfectly placed. Very few quarterbacks in the NFL are making those throws right now. Now, I don't blame the Vikings because I don't think there's a defense in the league that can stop them when they are playing like this. They are unstoppable.
Okay. Woody Page, what did you see last night?
Well, that's good, Mina. That's very good. But let's talk about the Vikings. They've given up 65 points to the Bills and the Rams. You don't think there's something wrong with that defense? I mean, this was one of the premier defenses in the league last year, top 2 or 3. They went out and got Kirk Cousins, so they're doing okay offensively. I mean, they didn't against Buffalo, but Kirk Cousins last night was doing everything he could. There's 31 points. I think when you have Mike Zimmer, who is considered, he's a great defensive coach, that when he says this is the worst secondary coverage we've had since I've been coaching in football. So, to me, the Vikings, who were considered also, along with the Rams, as a Super Bowl contender, they're just falling off the map. They may not even win the division. They may not even be a playoff team.
Fellow man in black, Israel Gutierrez.
That was also very good, Woody. But let's put something that could go into the bootleg podcast, if you will. Defense is hard. And defense is really hard when your quarterback is this good, when your receivers are this good, and when your running back is that much of a threat. This Vikings defense, yes, there's something wrong with it, right? But this Vikings defense gave up, 7 points to this same Rams offense last year? This team is entirely different now. The confidence that Jared Goff is playing with. He looks like a kid playing in the backyard with all his all-star teammates around him and has zero concerns. When you're back there against that 4-man Minnesota rush and you have all the time in the world and can drop dimes into an open receiver because he's looking off the safety. He's doing everything right, and he's putting it right in their chest. I had the name Joe Montana thrown around in my living room yesterday when watching Jared Goff. So that's not it's not like you can just scheme against this guy. That team is ridiculous.
You had the name Joe Montana thrown around in your living room. Well, let's take a look at that real quick. Did you throw it around, Woody, Israel, or did somebody else?
It was not. It was somebody slightly older than me, and I said, you know what? That seems to that looks very familiar. His throws on the run were so accurate.
Is this person an NFL scout or just some guy who was strolling through the neighborhood that you allowed in your house and said, Joe Montana?
Do you want a name? It's somebody who works in sports media behind the scenes. How's that?
Okay. Clinton Yates, what did you see last night?
Look, I mean, we've gone through this whole segment, and nobody's even mentioned the fact that Todd Gurley is apparently not a huge part of this offense anymore, which leads me to believe that this is a McVay situation. For as good as Goff is, he is doing everything without the run game really being the big deal that a lot of people thought it was. I love McVay, and I...
Hold on a second. How many total yards did Todd Gurley have last night? Was it about 160? 70 rushing, 70 receiving. I mean, isn't that getting it done for you?
No, my point is
not good anymore.
My point is that you've got to do this whole thing without even mentioning this guy, and this guy was supposed to be the focal point of the offense. And this is what I'm saying is that it's a system situation in which McVay has put everything together, and he's managed to make Goff look like the type of quarterback that doesn't even necessarily need the run guy to be the main factor, is what I'm saying.
Okay, so this is about Sean McVay for you. That's an understandable assessment. Mina Kimes, you want to address that?
Well, just one note on the Vikings defense. You're right, the secondary did look terrible, Woody. A lot of that was because of the absence of Everson Griffin, right? Because the best friend of a secondary is an explosive pass rush. They don't have that right now. They also got out-coached. Frankly, those are things that they need to fix going forward if they want to be competitive in the NFC.
Let me ask you one last question about this 4-0 start, Woody Page. What you're seeing from the Rams. Are you calling them favorites to win the NFC now? Are you saying this is an all-time start, the way they've started?
Not an all-time start. I mean, a lot of other teams have been 4-0, but they're in a bad division. Seahawks, forgive me, Mina, are not any good. The 49ers have lost their quarterback, and Arizona has just gone to toilet. So they're going to win that easily enough. They're going to have the home field advantage. I mean, this is a great team. And to clean up a little bit of what Clinton was talking about, Gurley was used as a decoy last night. I mean, the fact is Goff completed about 80% of his play-action passes. So that's why Gurley wasn't as effective.
And Yates, last word.
I mean, that leads to my point, which is what I'm saying. Did you guys have Cooper Kupp going off for what he did? No. This is what I'm saying about McVay, being able to make adjustments and make that offense do things in different pieces, not just what you think the regular threats are.
You know, Israel, you
they're
told
more
us
than a
defense
one-man
is hard, and you told us defense is hard for all the reasons that it is, right? Yeah. Also because it's kind of been adjudicated out of the game. That's the one biggest reason why defense is hard. We've been horned. We're going to move on. Biggest game on schedule this weekend, Dolphins-Patriots. Let's break it down. Last time the Dolphins won in New England, 10 years ago. That was the Matt Castle game. Last time they beat Brady in New England, 12 years ago. Last time Miami was 2 games up on New England in the division, which is what they are right now, was 16 years ago. Israel, you're embedded in Miami here. Bigger game for the Dolphins or Patriots?
Whew. I mean, to me, it's still a bigger game for the Patriots. Win or lose, it becomes Patriots, hey, recover, beat a 3-0 team, maybe they're back. Lose, it's, wow, 1-3. This could be the season. And the thing about the Dolphins is, like, they've done this before. They've been kind of good in stretches. This just happens to be a very surprising start. You've got Albert Wilson. They got Jakeem Grant. Kenny Stills doing a lot of great things. Tannehill looks like a really good, solid second-tier quarterback, and that defense is playing really fast and aggressive. But there's something about the New England Patriots. It's some sort of disease that they can't shake. The Dolphins can't. So unless they go in there and win and make the Patriots look bad, I think it's still going to be a Patriots story. So I don't think the Dolphins. Wow. It's a big game for them.
Here we go. We go to our guy in Miami for the view from Miami, and you're a wet blanket at South Beach. How about you, Clinton Yates?
I think this is absolutely a Dolphins story. I mean, ostensibly, the Dolphins don't really have any stars in this league if you think about it on the whole, and Gase is putting it together. You remember last year they were dealing with Jay Cutler, of all people whom I love personally, but it's not really about that. And he's managed to put this back there. They haven't been 4-0 since 1995 when Shula was there, which is just crazy to think about in general. If they managed to put this together, they've been the thorn in the Patriots side in that division, basically for the entirety of the Brady era in terms of teams that you thought might be able to, I'm not going to say knock them off, but make them uncomfortable. And you think about the past relationship with the rest of the division in general.
Thorn in their side in the Brady era? Is that how you see that?
The only team I think that's ever really competed with the Patriots in terms of you maybe think there's going to be an upset in that division, in my opinion, is the Dolphins.
Oh, the Jets have
run through those stats again, Tony.
Okay. Mina Kimes, how about you?
I think this is huge for the Patriots because if they lose, there's going to be a panic in Foxborough we haven't seen the likes of since 2014. And the difference with this slow start versus some of the Patriots' old slower starts is that it's not just the talent playing below their level. It's that there might not be enough talent in New England. Now, on offense, Brady's going to get back some of his weapons. Edelman, they're going to use Josh Gordon. Finally, he'll have guys who can win, matchups. But on defense, they are just sorely struggling on every level. The secondary linebackers, Hightower doesn't look like he used to. They have the second worst pass rush in the league right now behind the Raiders. Trey Flowers should come back, but I don't see that improving over the course of the season.
If I could just say, we said that last year as well about their team in the middle of their season, that their defense is just dreadful. And it finished 29th last year, and they still made the Super Bowl. Is this more severe for you, Mina Kimes?
I think it is. And also, Matt Patricia's not there, and maybe he deserves some credit for bringing some of those defenses back. We're going to see that this year.
Woody Page.
Tony, I want to start with that Israel is too far into palm trees to see the ocean. He doesn't know what he's talking about. One of the weapons that Brady's missing is playing for the Dolphins, Amendola. I mean, that is a real difference maker for the Dolphins, I think. You said Tannehill, second-tier kind of quarterback. He's 10-1 in his last games that he started as a quarterback. He's picked up right where he left off before he was hurt in 2016. They are using guys like Wilson that have never been heard of really in this league. They got rid of all the big name stars, but Gase is doing a great coaching job. I think they have a legitimate chance not only to go in there, but they'll get the Patriots at home. They've beaten the Patriots at home pretty regularly. So I think they have a real good opportunity here.
Gutierrez, last word.
check those Amendola stats. He hasn't really been much of a factor. Look, I'm not even saying the Dolphins are going to lose this game. I'm saying for the narrative, the national narrative, if the Patriots win or lose, they are the story. The Dolphins, they've been impressive. They've been great by their standard. Honestly, they were, I think, last in the ESPN Power Rankings going into the season. They're a good story. The Patriots are the story.
Okay, fun. You know the optics of saying narrative on this show.
I know.
Golf, Ryder Cup, Europe 5, USA 3. Tiger benched for the afternoon matches after he and Patrick Reed lost in the morning. U.S. swept in the afternoon. Woody, what did you think of Furyk benching Tiger? Is it a mistake?
It made all the sense in the world because, first of all, he's not even a 500 winner at the Ryder Cup, but at his age, I don't think you want to use him up in the first couple of days. You want to have him in that singles competition on Sunday. So do you really think that if he played in the afternoon, it would have made any difference? They were 0-4. Is he actually going to make a difference and make it 1-3? They'd still be behind. So Furyk made the right move. He is not overwhelmingly using either Woods or Phil Mickelson because he wants to save them for when the single matches are.
Well, if he did get the win to make it 1-3, then it would be 4-4 overall. Wouldn't that be the case, Woody Page? So they wouldn't be behind. Gutierrez, how about you?
So Tiger Woods was in the only pairing that lost in the morning, and we want him to, save us in the afternoon? That doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Also picking, a 42-year-old to play a ton of golf over the course of a weekend, also not a great idea. How about thinking about sitting Jordan Spieth, however? Has not been playing well coming to this, didn't play well in the morning even though they eked by, and didn't play well in the afternoon. He's been a question mark in my book.
Quinn Yates?
Yeah, I'm fine with the Tiger decision, but I don't understand how Koepka's not playing both rounds. This guy's been on fire for the past, winning majors all over the place. And secondarily, Europe gets to pick the pairing, so they're picking alternate play in the afternoon. They're better at that when they're at home, so it makes sense. I understand why they did it. If they flipped it, it wouldn't have been the same. You would have thought that you would have thought it differently.
I'm following. I'm picking up what you're putting down there. That's a good point. Mina Kimes, how about you?
Tiger wasn't great. He wasn't terrible. He did birdie 5 times, but clearly he's tired. He's 42, as people have pointed out. But Phil Mickelson was worse. And they should have seen this coming because he has been bad for months now. So, he was worse than Tiger, and I think that should play into this.
What are your face when people are like, Tiger's 42, he's old, and you're like, okay, 42, I'd give up anything to be 42 right now.
Yeah.
Kimes 18, Page 17, Gutierrez 12, Yates 9. Taking a break right here. Buy or sell on the other side. Stick around.
Around the Horn is brought to you by Corona Premier.